Alright, so page 21, multiply and divide expressions in exponential notation. So example 13, got number A there, 4 to the second, 4 to the seventh. 4 times 4. If it's got nothing up there, then it's 4 to what power? The first. 4 to the third, 4 to the third times 4 times 4 to the fourth. What's the first step that you would take in simplifying that? If I just gave you the top, what would you do?
It would be 4 to the 10th. Right.
2 plus 7 plus 1. Add them up, you get
10.
4 to the 10th. If I just gave you the bottom, you would say it's 4 to the
7th, 8th.
4 to the 8th. And if we know if they've got the same base, if they've got the same base and we're dividing them, we can do what with the exponents?
Minus. Subtract.
Subtract them. I don't know why people get to 7th and 8th grade all the time and still think you can say minus. So subtract. Yeah, so it's 4 to the second power overall. Capiche? Boring? Easy? Your face says yes.
Super tired.
Tired? Why? Did you not know that today was the first day back? No, I'm tired today too. Alright, underneath that you've got 1 to the 4th times the 3rd, 1st, 2nd. Sorry, 1/4 to the 3rd. 1/4. 1/4 to the 2nd over. What do we do with that? Arlie, what's the top?
1/4, and then put the things around it, and then 5.
To the what power?
6.
3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, you just cross it out.
Oh, there's 6.
Yeah, because 3, 4, 5, 6.
That was smooth.
They do the 6. And then on the bottom, Emma. And Madison, final answer. Yep. I was gonna try to get you with it, but you put it in parentheses for me. Emma didn't put the parentheses there, so she technically would have 1 to the 3rd power over 4, which is not the same thing as 1 over 4 in parentheses to the 3rd power. Yeah.
Yeah, it would just taken like 2 seconds if you crossed up the bottom and then crossed up with 1 to the 3rd.
Yeah, so you could have gone 1, 2, 3. There's 3 of them. There's 3 of that. Hey, look, I got 1/4 to the 3rd power. Could you just do that right away?
Yeah.
Absolutely, you can do that right away. As long as everything is all multiplying, dividing, everything else. Remember, multiplication is commutative, so you could just say, hey, I'm going to separate this out and have 1/4 to the 3rd power over 1/4 to the in parentheses to the 3rd power times 1/4 to the 3rd power. Those cancel each other out. Yeah, that's simplifying it. But yeah, you can do all of that in one step if you want. You don't have to do that and that. But if you're trying to say, hey, simplifying it, I don't want to do all this stuff in my head, you can do it that way. Either one works. Top of page 22, 3x to the 4th. Frank, can you read the rest of that for me?
22.
Yep, top page 22, 3x to the 4th times
5y to the 5th times 6x to the 6th. That's over 2y times 3x to the 2nd times 5y to the 3rd.
Okay, so what's the first thing I have to do on the top? What? Yes, why can I move stuff around?
Because multiplication
Boom, it's all multiplication, and that's what property? Commutative property. So I want to move what around first? What? Put the what next to each other? Oh, so like the 3's over the 3's and the 5's over the 5's? Yep, you can do that. Actually, you don't even need to. If everything is multiplying, you can just say, hey, cancel each other out, and the 2 and the 6, you can do what? Divide both of them by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so I just cancel it out, and the 6 becomes a what?
3.
3. Okay, 6 divided by 2 is 3. X's, I've got x to the 4th, x to the 6th, x to the 2nd. Can I cancel anything out right away? X to the 12th? What do you mean, x to the 12th? I can't hear you. You're going to have to speak up a little more. 4 plus 2. 4 plus 2 plus 6 is 12? You're right, that is true. But we still can't do that. Why? What? Yeah, 2 is on the bottom. So what do we have to do then? Yep, add the top and then add the bottom. So x to the 4th, x to the 6th, or I could just add them right away. X to the 4th plus x to the 6th makes x to the 10. So then I've gotten rid of all of these. I got rid of that. I still have to keep my 3. I already have my x to the 6th, and I have my y to the 5th left. I have my x to the 2nd. I already got rid of this 3, this 2, and this 5. I have y plus y times y to the 3rd, which makes y to the 4th. X to the 10th over x to the 2nd is going to give me
X to the 8th.
Yep. 3, what do I do with that 3?
Good question.
What? Nope, you just keep it. There's nothing on the bottom. We already used all the numbers that we had on the bottom, so I'm just gonna keep it. I'm gonna stick it on the front. And remember what number on the front of variables is called? Nope. The coefficient, yeah. So 3 is the coefficient right there. Y to the 5th over y to the 4th becomes y to the 1st, or just y. So 3, x to the 8th, y, or y to the 1st. Now, excuse me. If you want, could you have done all of that in your head right away? Sure, you totally could have. You could have said, hey, 3, cross out the 3, 5, cross out the 5, 6, cross out that. Okay, I've got 3 first. X's, I've got x to the 4th, that's x to the 10th over x to the 2nd. Okay, that's going to be x to the 8th. Y, I've got y to the 5th and y to the 3rd, so it's going to be y to the 5th over y to the 4th. Okay, that's going to be y to the 1st when I end up doing it. You can do it all in one step if you want. You can show it in like 7 painstaking steps if you want. If you're like, hey, I don't want to make mistakes with things, I would do one thing at a time. So I would say, hey, I'm going to do 3 times 5 times 6 over 3 times 5 times 2. And I would even draw like a little squiggly line for there so that I remember, hey, that's one thing. And then I'm having my x's together. X to the 4th times x to the 6th over x to the 2nd, because that's the only x on the bottom. I'll draw a little squiggly line because I know that, hey, after that, then I'm done with things. Y to the 5th over y times y to the 3rd. And then I would do the simplifying. Cancel, cancel. This becomes 3. This becomes x to the 10th over x to the 2nd. Y to the 5th over y to the 4th. And then go ahead and do the last part. 3 3, x to the 8th, y to the 4th. Oh, y to the 1st, sorry. That's how I would do it. I think that's the simplest way to do it. If you want to do things in less steps, you absolutely can. This is not the most complicated math you've ever run into, probably, but there's a couple different ways to solve it. You guys can work on guided practice. You know what? If you guys can do 18, then you can just do 1. Guided practice 18, bottom of page 22.
I'm extremely lost.
Okay, let's work through it. Yep. Okay, we're just gonna work through it together. So on the top, let's do numbers, variable 1, variable 2, top and bottom. That's what you want your sections to look like. Numbers, variable 1, variable 2. Numbers, which numbers do we have on the top?
4 and 9.
4 and 9. What numbers do we have on the bottom? 2 and 6. Variable 1, let's go A. What A's do we have on the top?
A 4. A to the third.
What A's do we have on the bottom? B's. What B's do we have on the top?
B to the second.
Yeah, B to the 5th. There's no
Oh
B to the
shoot,
second.
I
on
don't know.
top.
I was looking at the bottom.
And B's on the bottom.
B to the second.
Okay. 4 times 9 is 36. 2 times 6 is 36 divided by 12 is 3. A to the 4th times A to the 3rd becomes A to the
12.
nope,
12.
nope. 7th. You add them.
Oh.
A to the 2nd times A to the 2nd becomes A to the 4th. A to the 7th over A to the 4th is A to the
Wait, which one?
A to the 7th over A to the 4th
Oh,
is A to the
third.
3rd. B to the 5th over B to the 2nd is B to the
Third.
3rd again. If this process is confusing to you, go back, watch this video, look at this process over and over again. This is a really simplistic process. Numbers, variables, variables. I would write this down in your notes if you're like, hey, I'm getting confused on how to do this. Numbers, variables, variables. Simplify, 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 simplify. These are already simplified here, but they might not be in the future. Simplify, simplify. Separate them out. Do your subtracting, for the variables it's subtracting, with your numbers it's actually dividing. And get what you're gonna get. Works out pretty simply every time. Top of page 23, real world problems. There are approximately 10 to the 25th water molecules in a liter of water. 10 to the 25th. That's a lot. Patrick has 100 liters of water. How many molecules are there in all? Write your answer in exponential notation. So this is 1. If there's 100, what are we going to do with it? This is 1 liter. And he has 100 liters.
Oh.
So if he has 100 of them, we're going to do what with that?
20, or times 100.
What?
Times 100.
Do what?
Times 100?
Times 100. Multiply by 100. If you're multiplying by 100, that is what? Think about an exponential notation. We want this whole thing in exponential notation. What is 100 in terms of exponential notation? If this is 10 to the 25th.
10 to the 1st.
Nope. 10 to the
Second,
1st is
second,
10.
second.
10 to the 2nd. So you have 10 to the 2nd times 10 to the 25th. So your final answer is going to be 10 to the... Yep. And it is molecules with 1 less S than what I did. Wow, seems very complicated, right? Not really. 19, gotta practice. Jupiter is approximately 10 to the 8th kilometers from the sun. The dwarf planet Eris is 10 to the 10th miles from the sun. How many times as far as Jupiter is Eris from the sun? So they've got the good explanation there. They've got, hey, this is Jupiter, this is Eris, this is 10 to the 8th kilometers, this is 10 to the 10th. They want to know how many times farther is this than this. And by the way, the proportions that they show don't make sense based on what the answer is, just letting you know. So I want to say, how many times farther is this than this? What does that mean?
Divide.
What?
Divide. Right.
Divide, yeah, you're gonna divide. So 10 to the what divided by 10 to the what?
10 to the 10th over 10 to the 8th, which is 10 to the second.
Yep. 10 to the second times, so it's 10 to the second kilometers? No, that's not what the question asked. What did the question ask? What? Yeah, times as far. So it is 10 to the second times as far, or 100 times as far. If you look at this, does that look like Eris is 100 times farther away from the sun than Jupiter is in that picture? No. They're showing it, the way that they're showing it, you'd be like, hey, it's 100 kilometers further away or something like that. But no, it is 100 times further. So it should show one, and then 100 spaces later should show the other one, because that's how far away it is comparatively. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys.